Throughout American history, the lifeblood of change has often surged through the arteries of social movements, driven by citizens refusing silence under tyranny. The Declaration of Independence was not merely a political document, but a thunderous cry for dignity, agency, and liberation. Composed in 1776, it represented a seismic break from monarchical oppression, articulating grievances against King George III's overreach. In today's political landscape, such defiance echoes anew. As Tucker, 2019, observes, many Americans during the Trump administration revived the spirit of revolutionary protest, organizing grassroots movements in response to what they viewed as authoritarian tendencies, revealing an enduring legacy of active citizenship. The Declaration as a revolutionary manifesto. The American colonists authored the Declaration as both an act of resistance and a public indictment. As outlined by the National Archives, they charged King George III with obstructing laws, dissolving representative houses, imposing taxes without consent, and deploying troops among civilians. A litany of abuses designed to subjugate and exploit. These concepts, consent of the governed, natural rights, and the right to alter or abolish a destructive government, lie at the heart of every social movement. Then and now, such documents speak to a deeper truth, that citizenship means participation, and participation sometimes requires disruption. Do citizens understand the weight of rebellion? The Founding Fathers knew full well the danger of declaring independence. As they etched their names onto that parchment, they were signing what many called their death warrant. Before acting, they deliberated intensely, considering economic ruin, war with the British Empire, and the loss of life. Yet, they judged tyranny more dangerous than conflict. The consequences were immediate: full-scale war, international isolation, and internal division. Still, they embraced the storm, believing in a future where liberty would rise from the ashes of colonial subjugation. Parallels in the Trump era. Tyranny Revisited. Tucker, 2019, draws sharp lines between the grievances of 1776 and the protest movements of 2019. In particular, he identifies the following parallels. Tariffs and economic punishment. Trump's unilateral tariffs disrupted domestic markets and international relationships, reminiscent of British economic manipulation through navigation acts and trade restrictions. Weaponizing government jobs. The shutdown of the federal government left workers without pay, used as leverage to push political agendas, echoing the British punishment of colonial economies. Military at the border and immigration crackdowns. Much like the British quartering troops and inciting fear among colonists, Trump's deployment of military personnel to the U.S.-Mexico border and the family separation policies sparked moral outrage and civic mobilization. These policies ignited a wave of grassroots activism demanding impeachment, accountability, and constitutional restraint, reflecting the same moral urgency felt by revolutionaries centuries earlier. The silence on slavery, a haunting omission. One of the most jarring omissions from the Declaration is its original denunciation of the British Crown's role in sustaining the transatlantic slave trade, a clause penned by Jefferson but strategically removed to preserve colonial unity. This decision, driven by economic entanglements and Southern political leverage, exposed a deep moral fracture. The aspirational creed of equality was compromised to preserve an economy rooted in bondage. In silencing this truth, the founders laid the groundwork for a constitutional order that would protect slavery for nearly another century. The moral dissonance of the founders is stark. While some, like Jefferson, a lifetime wealthy slave owner, publicly decried slavery, their behaviors belied their words. Compromise ruled over conscience, and in that silence, the institution of slavery was allowed to fester for nearly a century more. Conclusion. The legacy of active citizenship. The Declaration of Independence is not a relic, it is a blueprint for resistance. Whether in 1776 or 2019, citizens who rise against authoritarianism engage in the sacred act of civic defense. From Boston's harbor to the National Mall, The spirit of revolution is reignited whenever power oversteps its bounds. Tucker's reflection on the Trump administration is not hyperbole, it is a warning. And history, if we are listening, does not whisper, it roars.